And with this,
All right. So our next presenter is almost Dr. Lucy Lowe. So her presentation is related to interoception and in the classroom, how to help teachers be able to implement that program. Lucy's been in our doctoral program and doing both interoception and autism and trauma throughout the last couple, almost a year and a half. And she's been doing some really great work. So we're excited to hear her project. So take it away, Lucy.
all right, thank you, Dr. Hempel, for that introduction. I appreciate it. So, hi, my name is Lucy Lowe, and I am presenting on my study that's titled An Occupational Therapist-Led Coaching Model for Special Education Teams in a School Setting. So, working in schools, I'm constantly working with teachers and special education teams and always trying to collaborate, see where things that I can take from their disciplines and add it into my sessions or offering reports or suggestions of how they can incorporate OT into their area. However, I, like many other OTs, we have a lot of schools that we cover. So it's really hard to be, we're not in one place at one time every week or every day. So it can be challenging to bring in new interventions. And when we have new interventions that we want to bring to the table, sometimes we can have more success if a student can access those opportunities and practice them more than just once a week when we are there at the school. So this brings my interest and my ideas with my presentation to explore how UT like coaching model can support a spec team with implementing new interventions or new programs. And specifically for my presentation, I'll be talking about the program of interoception. So I'm starting with my literature review. So during my literature review, I started off, I looked at 4 different areas for the purpose of my study. One was the impact of interoception in schools, benefits of an interoceptive curriculum in school, vetting support with interoception, and effective professional development programs. So to better understand the role of interoception in schools, first I want to talk about what is interoception. Not everybody knows what it is, so let's start with the definition. Interoception is the internal network that helps us to recognize body sensation, connect them to emotion, and then respond appropriately to those sensations that we have. They can include hunger, thirst, pain, happiness, sadness, and anger. So for example, when your stomach feels growled and it's empty, that's a sign of emotion of hunger, and so you get something to eat. Then, if your throat or your mouth is dry, that's a sign of being thirsty, so you take a drink. So now that I've introduced interoception, let's look at how it can affect students in school. Children with developmental delays such as autism, attention deficit disorders, or even brain injury can often struggle with executive function skills. So these skills include focus and attention, memory, working memory, mental flexibility, and planning and organization. Managing emotions and self-regulation, which is a part of interoception, is also an executive function skill. So when these kids have decreased interoception, they might act out, have meltdowns, or withdraw from others. So these behaviors not only affect being available and ready to learn and their academic growth, but also their social, emotional interactions. Next, I'm going to talk about the benefits of an interoceptive program in schools. One, it gives students those tools to understand and manage their emotions. This can build self-awareness, confidence, and it helps them to grow both socially and emotionally. Two, it helps students to connect their body signals to their emotions, which can improve self-regulation and can reduce some of their negative behaviors. Research shows that when kids struggle with interoception, they may have more trouble managing emotion and can act out. So those interoceptive interventions can help with this by reducing some of those impulsive and aggressive behaviors. Three, it improves cognitive skills that are needed for critical thinking with learning, and it also improves social skills with emotional intelligence and can support social and peer interactions. So next, we're going to look at the SPED team and its involvement. So for special education, the 2004 Individuals with Disabilities Education Act emphasizes the importance of a multidisciplinary team when providing services to students. This team can include special instructors, OTs, PTs, speech therapists, and mental health providers, all working together to support student success. They all help students succeed by building skills for learning, self-regulation, and social emotional growth. So just as an example with interoception, and a little bit connecting with that, mental health providers and speech therapists will teach students to recognize facial expression and manage dysregulation. So while this is supportive, these interventions are focusing more on their external emotion and lack teaching students that internal awareness. So incorporating interoception can help fill that gap. Interoception may be a new topic for educators, so if so, they are going to need training to incorporate new programs like this in school, and professional development is a way to do this. Professional development, or PD, can educate and train teachers in bringing in new interventions into the classroom. PD can offer opportunities to learn, to develop skills, and opportunities to collaborate with others. They can come in many different forms, such as courses, workshops, and conferences. Research shows that some characteristics that are effective for PD programs include content focus, collaboration, active learning, feedback, ongoing coaching, and sustained learning, which is very similar to a coaching model. So unlike conventional one-time workshops where it's a one and done, you learn something and then you leave, a coaching model can support teachers by providing continuous training and collaboration, which can improve teacher effectiveness and student outcomes. So while there's research exists in all the areas that I covered in my literature review and show that there's support for it and benefit from them, but there is no current research available in exploring the perspective and experience from a multidisciplinary spec team that is being coached by an OT. So that brings me to the purpose, and to recap the purpose of my study. I explored whether an OT-led coaching model can support sped teams in implementing an interoception program specifically. So now let's talk about my design. So this was a mixed method study involving a one-group pre-test, post-test design over 9 weeks. I used surveys and focus group discussions for data results and analysis. This study was approved by the Elizabethtown College Institutional Review Board, and all participants gave informed consent. The participants were recruited using convenience sampling for a total of 10 participants. So these included members from a SPED team, a learning specialist, speech therapist, school psychologist, and educational assistant, all working with students from a significant support needs classroom, ranging from kindergarten to 6th grade. So the study started off with staff training where the researcher, me, a licensed OT, explained interoception, the study details, and discussed their roles. It's really important to note that while the school year started in August, this study did not start until September after classroom routines were already set in place. The intervention for this study is based on Kelly Mahler's interoception curriculum, which is designed to help students recognize body sensations, connect them to emotions, and use strategies for self-regulation. For this study, a modified version of the curriculum was used where changes were made with collaboration from the SPEC team. These lessons were focused on external body parts such as hands, feet, and ears, which were more concrete for students to understand compared to the internal ones like the heart or the brain. Each body part was introduced slowly over a 2 to 3 week period to allow students time to become comfortable with the program and the routine. Also, there were weekly 30-minute small group sessions that were co-led by the speech therapist and the school psychologist. These sessions featured interoceptive awareness activities, or as we call them, IA builders, that use visuals, sensory experiences, and guided practice with body check folders. The body check folder is a folder that had a picture of a body in the folder and had icons in there as well, representing different emotions, sensations such as warm, cold, clean, fast. And students learned how to identify the different parts of the body and how they were feeling using these folders. So during the first 4 weeks, I led and demonstrated the IA building activities for the speech therapist and the school psychologist during a small group session. Then after that, they took over leading the groups. To support those sessions, I created an instructional binder outlining each session, the body part, and the IA builder activity. I also updated the body check folders and helped organize materials for each session. In the classroom, daily body checks were used using folders and were conducted 4 times a day. At arrival, departure, during whole group lesson, and individually. Each student had 2 folders, one for the classroom and one for small group. So here's the picture of the body check folder that was used. So on the left side, you can see that there's several different rows of icons. Each row is for a specific body part. And each icon represents a sensation such as warm, fast, slow, sore, and so on. And then on the right side is the visual of the body that was used. So students could identify when we were talking about a certain body part, like hand. How do your hands feel? They then take the picture from the left side and could place it on the right side with the body to identify how they were feeling. The body parts that we explored for this study were hand, feet, ears, mouth, and voice. And then these are pictures of some of the sensory materials that we use for the IA builder activities. So we use different sensory tools and they would explore how they felt, and we would describe words to describe some of the sensations that we might feel as they were engaging in exploring these items. So I collected data from pre and post-test surveys and a focus group discussion. The data was analyzed with descriptive statistics and thematic analysis. The main goal was to evaluate the effectiveness of the OT-led coaching model with the SPED team. I also wanted to explore teachers' views and confidence and satisfaction with using the interception program. Now let's take a look at the results. This bar graph shows the mean scores from the pre and post-test surveys. The scores were calculated using a Likert scale ranging from 1, the lowest, to 5, the highest. Before the training, participants completed the pre-test survey, and those results show that all the participants had little to no knowledge of interoception. And when asked about the importance of interoception in school and its potential support to students, respondents rated it from neutral to important. 70% of the participants had previous experience in working with an OT and felt comfortable collaborating with one. They also agreed that OTs play a valuable role in supporting SPED teams. Then, at the end of the 9 weeks, using the post-test survey, there was an increase with nearly all survey responses across the board. All participants reported a better understanding and value of interoception in school, along with increased confidence and satisfaction with the program and the coaching support provided by the OT. So then going into my thematic analysis, 3 things emerged. The first one is discussing the OT's role in coaching. The OT serves as a primary source for information, training, answering questions, and fostering collaboration. The OT provided strategies to facilitate and integrate interoception into the classroom routines. Modeling and demonstrating intervention as well as promoting the use of common language was seen as valuable components of the OT's role. Additionally, the OT took on responsibility as manager and developer of resources, ensuring that materials were prepared and organized. Theme 2 covers the benefits and challenges of coaching and using the interoception curriculum. The benefits include the effectiveness of direct teaching using visuals and sensory materials to help students understand body parts, sensation, and vocabulary. The curriculum helped students express their sensations, where they were promoting self-advocacy and emotional awareness. So two examples I wanted to share. The first one was where with a student after we had gone through this body parts with discussing the ears. The room was very loud and another student started screaming and crying. And this student responded to that sensation by covering his ears and saying, too much, too much. And then a second student who is usually very passive and quiet and had some sound sensitivities, during a small group just shouted out loud, quiet! And typically that was a very unexpected response because typically he would plug his ears or turn his ears to his shoulders. So that was a very interesting way for him to vocally express that because that was something that we hadn't seen before. An additional benefit to having this curriculum was the consistency because the interior section could be anticipated by the students and the staff because it is integrated into the daily routine and it followed the same structure every time. So along with the benefits, there were also challenges. Time constraints was the biggest one. These time constraints made it hard to have in-depth discussions and have consistency with check-in with coaching. Some of the body sensations were seen as too abstract and required a little bit more planning and collaboration to incorporate into the IE builders. Then there's the support needs. Supporting the students during body check was difficult at times, especially when the expressed sensation didn't match or seem repetitive to the participants. So for example, some of the participants reported that with the student, he always fits clean, he always says his hands are clean, his feet are clean, and his ears are clean all the time. That's the only choice. So having to walk through and explain it's not about the choices that they're making, it's giving them that voice, and we are just exploring and bringing awareness to and attention to their internal sensation. And this also applies to where we had another student who his response for everything was happy. I feel happy. And so, how does your mouth feel? I feel happy. My mouth feels happy. So it's just bringing awareness and trying to share that and letting the student participants know that was okay. Some students had trouble staying focused during the body check. They would grab the icon, they would not be looking at it and grabbing the icons and matching it to the body part. So this created some confusion. So some of these challenges made it hard, affected some of the participants' confidence in questioning, am I doing the right thing? How am I doing? Along with this being a new program and very unfamiliar was also a challenge. So now that I've covered the results, I'll discuss what these findings mean in the broader scope of the study's purpose, as well as discuss changes that were made to my study design. So overall, the results of the coaching model is seen to be, it is effective. It is effective in implementing new programs and OTs taking on that leadership role. When OTs take on that leadership role, they can introduce and guide new programs. So this model is very efficient in having an impact. Teamwork helps with the consistency as often OTs tend to work across multiple schools, while other educators are typically based in one school. This model encourages shared responsibilities, improves program accessibility throughout the day, which means students have more opportunities to practice, and it strengthens team cohesion, all of which support the students' overall academic and social emotional growth. So while the results highlight the effectiveness of the OT-led coaching model, I did make some adjustments to the study design along the way. Instead of reducing the small group modeling after 4 weeks, I continue to do this weekly at the request of the speech therapist and school psychologist. This helped them to feel more confident in using the curriculum. Body checks in the classroom were done once a day instead of 4 times. This was because the study started in September after the school year had already begun and classrooms were established, so it was not feasible to change them. However, the learning specialist shared that with proper planning, this can be incorporated in the future. Staff schedules often made it challenging to have consistent coaching check-ins, so communication would often brief, in passing, or electronically. This was the team's first experience with a new, unfamiliar intervention, so it was expected for the team to have some uncertainty. But however, I feel confident and the team feel confident that they will continue to grow as they have more practice and more experience with this program. So to wrap up my presentation, I want to conclude that yes, an OT-led coaching model is definitely an effective way to implement a new intervention and to work collaboratively with a SPED team. And I have here are my references. I would love to take a moment to share some words to my friends, my family, and coworkers, and to my professor, Carrie Hempel. Thank you for believing in me and the incredible support and positivity that you've given me throughout this journey. I could not have done it without any of your support, and I really appreciate that. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Lucy. That was fantastic. Do we have any questions from the audience before? Oh, there's somebody in the waiting room. Any questions? Well, while they're warming up, I want to know what surprised you the most.
For me, it surprised me the most how well the team really just poured in and latched into the idea and was just on board. So this was a really good experience for me to come in and do coaching because a lot of times when I do an intervention, it's to one person or one specific person. And so here coming on as a team as a whole, they all took it and took off running with it. While they were so nervous about it, they did a great job in moving forward with it and taking the things that I said and carrying it out. And I really love that even when they were uncertain about something, they did a really good job of flexing things in the moment and making things work for them. So there were times when I wasn't there and they had a question, they were like, well, we did this and we ran with it. And I was like, well, that's great, you did a great. So it's really nice to see them take some initiative and responsibility in that way. Oh, what should I do? So it was good to see that.
Excellent. Anyone else have questions? Tam, I see
Carrie,
Go ahead.
Yeah.
no, I put a question in for Lucy.
Okay. I don't
And
see it.
I just sent it to Lucy.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Excellent.
So the question is, was this coaching leadership role new to you, or did you have an established leadership role with the participants? So this is definitely a new leadership role for me. However, I did already have an established relationship with this team because I had been working with them for this is my third year with them now. So which really helped with having that relationship and that confidence in the team in knowing what their skill sets are and how they incorporate their role in the school setting with students. So already having that background, I can already foresee and give them suggestions that kind of relate to what they're doing in their roles. So yeah, it's a new experience for coaching for a sustained period of time because often I will check in with the teacher, like, have you tried this? Here's an idea, follow up, and then move on. But this is more sustained over long term, which is very much different for me.
Thank you very much, Lucy, for sharing that. And congratulations on
Thank
your
you.
new role. Yeah.
There was another compliment in there and an idea about how it was good to see an OT doing coaching. Someone said I made the connection between the last presentation with the rise in medically complex children. And this presentation for OTs to be coaches. I think it's the time for us as clinicians focusing on holistic care to be leaders and coaches for our special ed teams. Thank you both. So, wow, that's actually the intent of the post-professional OTD is for you all to see yourselves as leaders and in new roles that's beyond just direct occupational therapy. So very happy to see you all making connections and ways to do new things and expand occupational therapy. So congratulations to you all. Lucy, you did a fantastic job.
Thank
Other
you.
questions before we close this one? Okay. Well, thank you. Almost Dr. Lucy Lowe, 2 weeks to go. And we'll be finishing up her pieces and she'll be able to call herself doctor very soon. So thank you, Lucy. I'm gonna
Yeah.
take the co-host away there, and then I'm gonna find Laura here. Oh, there she is. Okay, so Laura, I'm making you the co-host.
Okay, sounds good. Oh,
All right, so you are the co-host now. You should be able to share.
yep.
All right. Go ahead and perfect. You got this.
All right.
Excellent. All right. I will keep letting people into that waiting room there. All right. So we're going to go ahead.